Choosing a niche as a handmade creator is honestly one of the hardest parts of starting a business. Everyone online is constantly telling you to niche down and pick one thing, but when you're creative, that can feel impossible. As a creative and artist, you probably like making all sorts of things, and your inspiration can change every week. And suddenly it feels like you have to choose one style or product or vibe forever. That just makes everything feel so much harder than it has to be. So in this video, I want to take all that stress away and help walk you through a really simple way to choose a niche that actually makes sense for you. Not something that boxes you in or drains your creativity, but will actually help you grow without feeling like you're stuck in one tiny corner of the internet. And we'll also discuss 5 steps that can help you decide what your niche is. Hi, my name is Sterling, and I'm the artist here behind Cactus Lady Creation. And here on this channel, I love sharing my journey as an artist, as well as my insights of running a handmade business over the past 8 years. By the end of this video, you'll know how to find a direction that feels good and how to check if people are actually buying what you want to make, as well as how to test your ideas before committing to anything long-term. And if you love videos like this or you're building your own handmade business, go ahead and give this video a like and also subscribe to join back up with me each week for more videos like this. All right, let's get into it. A lot of creators get stuck with choosing a niche because they think it has to be super tiny, or they might not really understand what their niche is. Like, you have to be the only person out here who's making pastel mushroom earrings, or crochet gothic home decor, or creates one single type of product forever. But really, that's not what a niche is. A niche is simply a focus. It's the overlap between what you're making, what you're good at, and what people want to buy. It doesn't have to be ultra specific or restrictive. It just needs to give your audience a clear idea of what you create. So you can think of it like this. If someone lands on your page for the first time, can they immediately understand what your vibe is? And can they tell what you make? Can they also picture what your products are for? If the answer is yes, then you already have a niche. Your niche isn't meant to be restrictive. It's actually meant to make things a lot easier for you and help you make clearer decisions, build a brand, and ultimately help people remember you. So instead of thinking of your niche as this tiny box, you can think of it as a lane on a big highway. You still have room to move around and try things and explore and grow, and you're just moving in a direction that makes sense for you. The very first step to picking your niche is actually figuring out what you want to make. And this sounds so simple, right? But actually, so many handmade creators can skip this part because they get caught up in what they see selling or what they think other people want. But the truth is that if at the end of the day you don't enjoy making what you're creating, then you won't stick along with it long enough to grow a business around it. So you can start here by looking at your own creative habits. What projects do you naturally go back to again and again? And what materials do you reach for even without thinking? And what styles or aesthetics really excite you? You can make a list of all the things that you love creating over the past year, and don't overthink it at all. Just jot it all down. And once you have that list, you can circle the things that you feel are the most fun and fulfilling to make. And you can even ask yourself, could I happily make this over and over again without getting bored? That's your sweet spot, and that's where your energy and passion will come from. And your audience will also be able to feel that energy in your work. So for example, in my own creative journey, I was really inspired by vintage design styles and boho aesthetics. So I started off with making macrame wall hangings that had this kind of vibe. But then I went through this phase where all I wanted to do was crochet and was inspired by alternative and whimsical elements. And I loved injecting them into my already boho and vintage style that I had, and it transferred into this different medium with my crochet designs. And now I'm actually getting back into my first love as a visual artist, which is photography, and specifically film photography, which already has that vintage aesthetic, of course. And throughout all of this, I have always included vintage and scrapbooking styles as well into my digital designs and patterns, and even my branding and packaging, so that everything connects together. So my love for vintage design and boho aesthetics was my starting point, and then from there I was able to explore demand, expand my designs, and refine my niche over time. And over time you might even decide to shift mediums or even combine 2 different mediums. But when you're just getting started, it's really nice to hone in and focus on what medium you will start with, with, and then solidify what you want to make. So your niche ultimately starts with you and your interests and ultimate inspiration, and with what you love making. All right, so now that you know what you love making, the next step is making sure that people actually want it. This is where a lot of creators can skip ahead and guess, but guessing can cost you months of work, and I know this firsthand. Instead, we want to check real world demand. So start by looking at platforms where handmade buyers hang out: Etsy, Ravelry, Pinterest, and even Amazon Handmade. And you can also use tools like Google Trends and Pinterest Trends and social media platforms to see what people are actually searching for related to your art. And this can help you identify popular but specific niches within the art world that you'll occupy. So you want to search for ideas and notice a few things. Are products similar to what you are making selling consistently? And do they have a lot of reviews? Are there multiple sellers succeeding in that same category, or is there just one lucky outlier? If multiple sellers are selling well, then that's actually a really great sign, because it means that people are buying and the market is healthy. But if no one is selling, that could mean that there's no real demand, and trying to be different could actually backfire in this specific instance. And then on Etsy, there's tools like Etsy Search and Etsy Hunt and Everbee, which can help you search volume and trends so you don't have to guess. You're basically looking for proof that people are out there and clicking buy on products like yours. And here, you don't want to copy what other people are doing, but just confirm your creative ideas and that they actually have a market. But if you skip this, you might actually spend months creating things that no one wants. And this is the fastest way to lose time and money. So step 3 is to figure out what makes you unique and different in your niche, because you don't want to just be another person out here doing the same thing as everyone else. You want your work to stand out, and the easiest way to do this is by leaning into your unique style. So with this, you want to ask yourself what comes naturally to you, and what themes or moods keep showing up in your projects. What colors, textures, or techniques do you gravitate towards? And that's your creative fingerprint, and it's what actually will set you apart from the rest. So for example, there might be 2 people who sell crochet tote bags, but one person might stick to soft pastel kawaii colors, while the other leans into dark grunge inspired textures. They're both the same product, but completely different audiences, and have a completely different vibe and feel. And that's the power of your personal style. Your niche is the category, but your style is the magic that will actually make people want to choose your products over someone else. And the great thing here is that you don't need to force it. You already have a style. It's just about recognizing it and letting it actually guide your creations. And then step 4 is all about your mindset and choosing a direction instead of feeling trapped inside of that niche. So one of the biggest fears for creators is having to pick a niche and then feeling like you're stuck in it forever. But it's not a marriage, okay? It's basically picking that lane on the highway like we talked about. So you still have room to explore and experiment and evolve. Your niche is the general direction that you want to go into for that next season or era of your artistic journey. And it gives you focus and also helps your audience understand what you do, and so that your energy can go towards building something consistently. But it's still flexible enough that you can pivot into different styles and techniques or different products that excite you. And you want your niche to be clear enough for people to recognize you, but also open enough that you don't feel boxed in. So that's the sweet spot that will actually help keep your creativity alive and keep building a business that makes sense. So overall, your niche should guide your artistic journey, and it's there to help you make decisions along the way. So the final step, and this one is one that can save you so much time and frustration, is testing out your niche before you fully commit. Instead of spending months and months creating this huge collection or investing a lot of money into a ton of supplies, you want to start small and see how people respond. And I know this one might be a little bit more practical if you already have an online audience, but you can choose 1 to 3 pieces, products, or prototypes in that style or category that you're considering, and you can share them in your shop or on social media such as TikTok, YouTube Shorts, or Instagram. And then you want to pay attention to the engagement. Are people commenting and saving and sharing or asking questions? And also see if they're interested in purchasing it. And those are all of your clues about whether your niche is actually working. You could also run a quick poll in your audience community, and this one is one of my personal favorite things to do. And you can also offer pre-orders or pre-sell the products to see if people are interested in them. And I've seen this work for so many other artists, and it can also be a way of actually selling out your collection before you even release it. But you might be saying, yeah, Sterling, that's really great, but I actually don't have an online following yet. Well, you can also try doing some in-person markets or selling at a brick and mortar shop. But first you want to do research on that market or shop and make sure that it's actually within your ideal target audience. And researching markets to see if they're good for you to vend at is a whole other video that I might make in the future. So let me know if you're interested in that in the comments below. But you can also try doing this in person at markets and see if customers are interested in your specific product offerings and niche. And if you get little to no response, that's definitely okay. I've been there many times before. It doesn't mean that you're a failure. It just means that you have to move into a different direction and refine your style or explore a slightly different audience. This also will help you step back and make decisions based on feedback without any guesses, which is definitely a smart move to make as a handmade creator. So those are the 5 steps to choosing a niche as a handmade creator. And to recap, you can first start by creating what you love to make, and then check for demand, and then figure out what makes you different, and then pick a direction without feeling trapped, and test before you fully commit. The best niches are where that overlap is between what feels good to you and what there's demand for. And if you want more tips on building your handmade business or trying to figure out what your niche is, I've also got one-on-one coaching and free resources linked in the description box below. And you definitely want to make sure you check that out down there. And of course, don't forget to like this video and subscribe, and definitely click that bell so you don't miss out on future videos that are packed with advice for creative entrepreneurs like you. If you want to see more videos specifically like this one, check out the Entrepreneur playlist next. And definitely don't forget to check out my video on 10 handmade products to make for 2026. Well, thanks for watching, and I hope you'll join me in the next one.